Alright, what is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Side Hustle is your boy Daddy Nat, and today, ooh, a little slippage. Look at that. And so today, basically, the idea is we're going to find out, is playlists.com worth the money spent? Or playlists, it's with a V instead of an A. This is a website that I actually had, what was his name? Malek reached out to me over at my email. He reached out and said, hey, I'm very curious about this. I don't really know anybody else on the internet who will actually go and test this out and let me know if it's legit or not. So I said, all right, I feel like a man for the job, and I did that. Here's what I did, all right? So with these folks particularly, there are a couple packages that you can get. In fact, maybe I'll pull up a screenshot of the different packages available right here. But essentially, what I did is I started off with the most basic package, so I think it was like $150. I did start this campaign about 3 weeks ago. That's when I did that Rose campaign, and then I did the second campaign, which was much more expensive. We're going to dive into that. That's the one where we'll spend the bulk majority of time on today's episode. I'm getting a couple hundred streams per day. Probably in aggregate, I've gotten 5,000 to 6,000 streams since I started it. That might not be right. Probably like 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000, something like that. So not bad. So I was like, okay, this seems to be working. Doesn't appear to be any bots or anything like that. So I said, okay, let's move on to the next step, which is to go buy a much more advanced package. I paid, I think it was $642.91, and this includes their discount. So they gave me, I don't know if it was 15 or 20% off, but that's how much I paid for this campaign. All right. Now, from that date, I was approximately like 319 or somewhere between 319 and 320,000 streams on my song One Night. If you guys have watched my channel before or you listen to my music, One Night's my most popular song. It's by far done the best, and it's what I've used sort of as a guinea pig on some of these other platforms for things like Playlist Push. Okay, so starting my screen record, going to Spotify for Artists. Okay, so we have the top page. So first thing you'll notice is I'm about 1.5K followers. So I said I was about 900 before I kicked it off. I'm at 1.5 now. Not bad at all. Over the last 7 days, I've gotten a little less than 20,000 plays on One Night. Let's go over to my overall metrics, okay? So this is for One Night specifically, and for that I had 398,965 streams. So tomorrow I'll break 400K. So for 2 weeks, getting 80,000 streams on this song is not bad at all. So you can see I kind of peaked, right? There was one day which was like 8.5, 8.1, 6.7. So, I have some things that I want to discuss a little bit further about those particular days, as I may have some concerns, but we'll carry that on at the end. But as you can see right now, about 2K plays a day28 It does spike. I am seeing more spikes. And you can see over the last, let's see, what is it? 28 days. I've had an increase of 162.35%. So 92.5 thousand plays for this song specifically. Now this is an area that I think is interesting as well. Where are the sources of my streams, okay? So as you probably would be aware, a lot of this is coming from other listeners' playlists, okay? 63%. Now this is an area that I'm not super proud of. I would love to have way more Spotify editorial playlists, more Spotify algorithmic playlists, although that is increasing at 12%. It's not bad at all. And then, of course, you have, listeners' own playlists and library. Now, so this is a little troubling, right? I really wish I had some more breakdown here in the algorithmic area. Now, moving on to the areas. Now, this is where I actually see a lot of promise with this. If you're breaking down the countries that I have for this, Israel's a new one, so I'm a little curious about that. I would say it's directly correlated to this, but still, vast majority of my streams are coming from the United States, Canada, Israel, Germany, United Kingdom, Brazil, Australia, Netherlands, Belgium, Mexico, a very diverse audience, which I'm very proud of. And then if you look down here in the top cities, right, these are American, well, there's one in the UK, but many American cities: LA, London, Chicago, New York City, Buffalo, San Francisco, Washington, Seattle, Miami, Dallas, Columbus, Victoria, Canada, Atlanta, Salt Lake City. These are all places that I do want my music to be listened to primarily, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then as you go down to the playlist, this is here's kind of a concern as well. These are all the same style playlists, which it's not like it's that bad of a deal. What are they called? Sounds. Yeah, these guys are all called sounds. It's not like that's the worst thing on the planet, but it does kind of make you think, okay, maybe there's somebody behind the scenes who works for Playlist.com who is getting paid out for a portion of this money to add you to a playlist, which to me is just suspicious because, people don't listen to playlists unless there's good music on it. So anyway, not saying that's the worst thing, but there has been a huge benefit from it. This is the last 28 days. I've had 10,000 of those streams coming from Discover Weekly. Discover Weekly is a great Spotify algorithmic playlist. So to be able to continue increasing those streams that I get from that is huge for me. Okay, so I think that breaks it down for one night. If you go over to my overall performance here, you can see my listeners have increased dramatically, right? What's this? Basically increasing in listeners, had several really high days like I was showing you over there. But 63,548 listeners is an all-time high for me. I would love, my goal was to get 50,000, so I surpassed that. Next stop is 100K. I'm just curious how many of these I will retain over the next, say, 30, 40 days. I am doing a lot of other things through TikTok, a lot of other things through Facebook and Instagram ads. I'm pushing it in all facets. So it's a little hard to know exactly what this data, how accurate this data is. But look, guys, I'm just trying to show you the best I can. I can tell you that this is significantly what pushed my streams on Spotify the most. Okay, as you go down, now this is the thing about it that I don't like. Okay, really the only negative, and somebody pointed this out to me. And I thought it was very interesting. And that is, before I kicked off this campaign, I had a listeners also like section, a similar artist section, and basically as your audience grows, you will continue to get put on this. I had that, right? And I had that for months. And then recently, as soon as I kicked off this campaign, I lost that. And I don't know this for a fact, but I have heard a few individuals tell me that would be an indicator that some of the plays that I'm getting are from bots. I've had other people tell me that no, it just takes a little while for the algorithm to catch up. That doesn't make much sense to me, given that I already had it before. So this is a red flag. I mean, candidly, I'm not saying that this is a make or break situation, but this is a little bit of a red flag, and I would say it is probably part of the reason that I may not be using these guys as frequently in the future. Playlist Push didn't have this. So the positives of this are it works. It increased my monthly listeners significantly. It increased there's a pretty good like to save ratio, for the songs. So for the streams that I'm getting in comparison to Playlist Push, for example, pretty good, pretty similar on the follower increase. Nothing, astronomical, but it certainly does add up over time. Let's see. I think the quality of service, they got it done in a couple days. I have heard a lot of people complain about the quality of service on there, so I would recommend if you are using this, you want to immediately email them as soon as you purchase it, because they probably get a ton of orders. They're doing a lot of advertisement right now, and I would venture to guess that that's potentially why people are running into problems. Just email them as soon as you buy it, and they'll know that you're already on their ass, and you can move forward. The negatives of this is look, I think as we mentioned, the listeners also not being there is super fishy to me. It makes me think that there's probably bots involved in this in some capacity. It's just a little fishy, and as I look online, there's really nobody else talking about this, so I can't say for sure if it's bots, and hopefully somebody from Playlist.com can watch this video and come, tell me what they think, because I would love to learn more, but ultimately, that was a little bit fishy to me. All that said, I'm getting listeners from the right locations. I'm getting a good save ratio. I'm getting the right amount of followers. I'm getting, a significant increase in plays, a significant increase in monthly listeners. I cannot complain about any of that, because at the end of the day, gang, streams are streams. So I'm going to get paid out on that 92,000 streams that I got over the last month. That equates to a little less than $400. At 100,000 streams is about $400. So I'm going to get paid for this, for the 600, or I guess probably 800 total that I spent on this. I will get that back, in the next, it takes a quarter before you recognize the revenue through things like DistroKid, which is what I use for my DSP. But It's all to say that I will make my money back on this. So that's all you care about, and you want to get some streams to kind of just, hopefully get you more into the algorithmic playlist. I'd say this is a pretty good investment. Not everybody has $650 to go spend though, so use your money wisely and make sure that's the song you believe in. So that's just something to keep in account. I will continue to update you guys if I see any other significant changes, if I see a huge drop off, if I get streams removed because they find out they're from bots, if they reach out to me, I'll give you guys all those updates. But ultimately, I do think, if there's a recommendation for it, I do think that playlist.com is worth the money for the streams that you're getting and the ROI that you're getting strictly from a monetary value perspective. Hard to say if it's worth the money from a branding perspective, but from a monetary perspective, I think it is. If these end up being bots and there's some long-term effects because of that, then I'm not going to be happy at all, and I'll come and make a video about that because I'm super transparent. But ultimately, I think given that I'm getting most of these streams from good locations, I'm getting a good follow ratio, as I mentioned. All these things are indicators that I think it's a fairly good investment. I think if you believe in the song, and that's the most important thing. I can't say this enough times. If you don't have a good song, you're gonna have to be so damn creative if you want that song to work, right? You're not just gonna be able to send it to some damn playlist curator, right? You're gonna have to go and do something completely custom, get it out the mud, be way more creative than just throwing money at it. But if you have a good song, you can throw money at it for things like this, and you will get pushed out. You will gain listeners. You will gain monetary value from this. So if you guys like this content, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, smash that notification bell so every time I drop a video, you guys can be informed. And stay tuned for the next one. I'll be dropping way more videos now that I have a videographer. Shout out Ming, and you guys have an amazing day during this crazy time. Love you all. Peace.